which changed the whole notion of what reality is, and we have been very vocal on that particular theme, as you'll see on YouTube if you search us. So the very notion of what reality is what affects ultimately who we are and our experience in this reality. We are socially spun by our physics, which we then accept in a social context because it gives us our value, it gives us the bread on the table, it gives us our education systems, it gives us our electricity, it gives us our television, it gives us our fancy toys. So the present modus operandi, the present form of being that we are, is spun through a series of presumptions that seem sexy enough to be real. Relativistic science, quantum mechanics, and neo-Darwinism, that we have come from monkeys. If you look in the history of mankind, all the time we have been on this planet, and you look at the ancient cultures, do you find the Darwin idea anywhere? No, not that I've encountered. Suddenly, a member of a secret society called the Deluna Society has heard of a rumor, a myth, and a Tibetan myth, of monkey gods, extraterrestrial monkey gods, mating with the template of man, and this, or the higher man, which is known as Manu, and from this man is derived. It is a Tibetan myth, which then was spun into Darwin evolutionary theory. Of course, if you look at archaeology, and you go back a few hundred years, you see there are very good finds of human beings going back hundreds of millions of years. Very good skeletons of Homo sapiens from Table Mountain, skulls, and fossilized shoe prints, or shoes even, in Triassic rock in Nevada, found by archaeologist Ballou in Nevada in 1922. Which was analyzed by the Clark Shoe Company and was found to have a stitch-like pattern like they use, similar to what they use. You have the work of archaeologist Robert Slaughter, who worked for the Smithsonian Institute, who finds very small human beings, tiny, but with other forms of appendages like wings, who also finds different offshoot species. These are archaeological remnants. They are also described in the ancient texts as primarily the Sarasvati Valley remnant texts, which incorporates the Vedic literature, especially the proto-Vedic literature of the Rig Veda, which describes, in fact, mankind and all life being part of a larger life ontology in the universe. But that's another story. So these things are coming more and more to light, and the way that we are looking at ourselves today is based on a way that is packaged. And it's time to look beyond the package. It's time that we each claim the responsibility of our heart, mind, will, that we ourselves are co-creators with a larger process, that the present reality we see, as we see this present reality, may not be exactly as it appears to be. How much of it is hypnosis? How much of it is a hypnosis that you have acquired from your parents' hypnotherapy, which was hypnotically instilled in them by their teachers, by their society? How much of that hypnotherapy from school, this is how reality is, which often has become wrong just in 20 years. Many notions of science and archaeology and other fields have become wrong in just a period of 20 years. And the television shows what you need to buy, what your values are, and how reality is a simple three-dimensionality, and how we are monkeys that are trying not to be monkeys, and therefore we need to groom ourselves very nicely shaven, and nice haircuts, and nice trimmings, and different cures for our nails, and latest fashions and toys, so that we're not the monkey, pretending not to be the monkey, but who says we are the monkey to begin with? These things are becoming more blatantly obvious.
It was very nice. You took us through the whole history of our solar system. And what about the music of the solar system? What about this 432 hertz music? We know you are also involved in, and you did a lot of research, and we had the opportunity also to listen at some of your songs, which is amazing. Some of the scientists and doctors are amazed how they make the healing process shorter than it usually is.
Well, that's a very good question, the music in light of the solar system. Since the solar system has been established to be musical, Kepler began with that, and that kind of went forwards by Jonathan Tannenbaum especially, who pioneered the kind of music we're doing, but in a classical field, and we give credit to Tannenbaum for that. We are the creators of modern 432 hertz music, or what we call AUMega Revolution music, using the harmonics that Kepler began with, that understands that the symmetry, the geometry of creation, the geometry of the planets are very, very important. The phi symmetries, the golden symmetries, that is established by a 12-tone music cone for our solar system, for the positioning of our solar system, that is complete overtone octaves and harmonics. And Helmut's theory of music is false. So the equal tempering scale that was universal in Europe, it was universal in most of the world, in Greek and in the Egyptian, in the Sumerian, and certainly in the Indus and Sarasvati Valley cultures, who had a very intricate science of the musical tuning systems, is now coming out again. So the AUMega Music Revolution uses a Do scale, as you call it, that's a C tone of 256 hertz. It's a very, very intricate science. We could talk for hours on this and the research involved. This is not just the solfeggio harmonics, which are gaining popularity in America. Yes, 432 hertz, which we use as the so-called A tone in the music cone of equal tempering that Dr. Tannenbaum first identified, does fit into the solfeggio music grid, one of the sub-grids. In America, I think now it's very popular to go for 528 hertz for healing, but it doesn't have the same effect as what we've been working with. So we've developed a music that doesn't just use this 432 hertz. So we have Italian Dr. Nicola Limardo, geoprotex.it, who has been studying our music for quite a while, who demonstrates how, for instance, Mozart at 432 hertz has a slight effect that is more coherent than Mozart at 440 hertz. However, if our music is played, it has a dramatic increase in the health effect and healing effects. Why is that dramatic difference? Well, some of that we're a bit cryptic about deliberately, because for obvious reasons. But some of the factors in there is that we use the well-established healing frequency of 8 cycles per second. Now, regardless of what some of you in the New Age movement might believe, that going to a higher frequency is better, there is a universal frequency of 8 cycles per second in the hydrogen constant of the universe. Yes, there are increases in the whole Schumann range, which includes 13 hertz and 21 hertz, etc. That's well established and can be seen on any Schumann resonance monitor. But 8 cycles per second, there's a great series of experiments that have been done since the mid-70s that show the healing of over 27 different organic diseases by 8 cycles per second. So we use this phase conjugation